Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today we're going to be checking out one of the best decks inside of the entire game, and it's going to be one that you guys have probably seen a lot recently. It's the Giant Prince deck, and it also has the new Mega Minion. As soon as the card came out, people started swapping it inside the deck, and it's actually extremely effective, so I'll play it inside of a couple of challenge matches today, just to show you how effective it is when you play it correctly. Now, the thing that makes the deck so strong is, number one, it has so many good defensive cards. You can use the Prince on defense, you can use the Mega Minion on defense, the Musketeer depending on what you're going against, and then also going on offense, there's not one single way to push with the deck. You can use the Giant Mega Minion combo, you can use the Giant Prince Mega Minion combo, the Giant Musketeer combo. There's just so many different ways to push that makes it so your opponent really never knows what's coming and makes it really difficult to defend against. Now, starting off this game, we're starting with our Elixir Collector, which is going to be doing work on the bottom left, and overall we shouldn't really take any damage from his push down the right hand lane, so already we've taken a massive lead, so I might as well just take another Elixir Collector on the bottom right and try to keep capitalizing on that for the rest of the battle. Now at this point we can definitely get ready for our push, and honestly I'd like to avoid his Pekka depending on what side of the map it's on when I play my Giant, because I know his Pekka will just cut my Giant down into pieces, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to play my Giant down the left hand lane, and of course he's gonna respond with his Pekka down there as well. Now rather than go crazy down that left hand lane, because I feel like I might lose that matchup, I'm just gonna go ahead and storm down that right hand side. I've got the Prince, I've got the Mega Minion, I've got the Ice Spirit to take out that Lumberjack, and just like that, that tower is gonna go all the way down to 400 HP, 100 HP. The tower is actually gonna go down. And that just shows you guys the power of playing both lanes at once. I know a lot of people, when they start their push, they just try to push down one side of the lane and they never even look at the other side. But as soon as I realized I was going to be facing off against that Pekka, against my Giant, which is a terrible matchup for me, I instantly switched it up. I went down the right-hand lane because I knew I had that Elixir advantage. And in the end, that gave us the very first tower of the game. And we're only going to take one hit on our side of the map, I guess, as to counterbalance all the elixir we spent over there. So 1599 HP on the left, full HP on the right, and let's go ahead and match his Elixir Collector and get ready to get into the rest of the battle. Alright, so 55 seconds left. He's probably going to start a Pekka push pretty soon, and rather than play my Giant, I'm just going to play my Poison Spell and get some decent value against the Elixir Collector rather than start my push too early. Alright, so now I do have to play my Musketeer. I don't really have any other choice right now. I'll play my Giant in front of my Musketeer, just trying to make my push as slow as possible so we fight on my side of the map. My Zap spell will kill the Princess because I did get a hit off on the Princess before the poison spell went down, because the poison spell was like just a hair off of her, but it did end up getting like one tick before the poison spell wore out. And because of that, now it looks like we're going to win this push in the very center of the map. He's going to play his Prince. That's going to die fairly easily, and yeah, with 10 seconds left, that will be the end of the game for a very, very controlled victory. So one counter push ended up sealing the game for us, and in fact we'll probably take another tower right here to wrap this one up for 2 crowns to 0. And a very nicely done battle against Alex PGM. So that showed you a lot of the different strengths of the deck. Now let's go ahead and get into another challenge match to show you guys, as you face different decks, this deck is just so versatile. It's good against air decks, it's good against ground decks, it's good against tanks like the Pekka I showed you right there. It's strong against Hog Cycle decks, and Inferno Towers you can even take out due to the fact that you have the Zap spell and the Ice Spirit. And it looks like we're going to be playing against a Sparky deck, and we should fare pretty decently against the Sparky deck because we have the Mega Minion, which is strong, as well as we have the Zap spell and the Ice Spirit. Those are all counters to the Sparky. And let's go ahead and get ready by dropping a Giant in the back, and our Giant's going to be able to distract the Sparky whenever it gets to our side of the map. Alright, so Ice Spirit to stop the Sparky in its tracks. It's going to go ahead and relock on. I'll actually just go ahead and place my Prince as well to help out, and now that he's placed his Elixir Collector, check how much of a push we have going down this right-hand lane. We've got a 5 Elixir Giant, a 3 Elixir Mega Minion, and a 5 Elixir Prince, and he actually, you know, he barely had any Elixir to defend us to defend against our push on defense, and because of that, as I throw words up out of my mouth, we're going to take that tower down, and that will be tower number 1. And we've already locked onto the King Tower, and we're dealing some serious damage right now. The tower's down to 800 HP. It's going to go all the way down to 200 right now. And that means we can just drop a Musketeer, let it walk up right to his tower, and that is going to be the end of the game for 3 crowns. So literally one push and then 200 damage. was the end of the game. We just did a little bit of a counter push after dropping our Elixir Collector. We took him all the way down to 199 HP before dropping our Musketeer. Another simple win using this deck, and that was 3 crowns right there for that battle. Alright, so hopefully this one will be a little bit more difficult, and actually we have a pretty poor starting hand, so this one will be a true test of this deck because we don't have the Giant or the Elixir Collector inside of our starting hand. Now, it looks like our opponent actually is going to be wasting a lot of Elixir, which is going to help out a lot, so for that, I'm going to go ahead and start making a pretty big push. My Ice Spirit will freeze both the Tower as well as the Giant, which is pretty interesting right there. His Mini Pekka is going to do work against my Musketeer, though, and yeah, this is going to be decent, but not the best push ever. We'll take that tower maybe down to halfway, and his Giant's going to be on my side of the map, and now I'm going to have to deal with that by playing one of my troops. So I'm going to actually use the Musketeer because I know my Musketeer will kill his Giant, and then instantly it's going to turn around and it should just finish off his Musketeer. They're going to die at the same time. Little Romeo and Juliet action right there, except for it's Juliet and Juliet. 877 HP on that top right-hand tower, and now we can set up for a push by dropping my Prince in the back and then using my Giant to get shoved down the lane. Now, this is really good for us. He just played the Elixir Collector. So when your opponent plays their Elixir Collector, you know at maximum they have 5 Elixir left inside of their hand. So because of that, that tells me, hey, I need to go crazy. I need to go really offensive in this next push right here. And that's exactly what I did. I'm going to take down that Giant. My Giant is already onto his tower doing some crazy damage right there. And with 1:30 left, we have so much pushing down this right-hand lane that there's almost nothing he can do to stop it. And I'm going to drop my Poison Spell to get some insane value if we even need it, because that tower is all the way down to 0, and we used one counter push to win us that game, 3 crowns to 0 against Higor. So just knowing that my opponent was low on Elixir right there, and that he played a mistimed Elixir Pump gave me a fairly simple win. And let's go ahead and hop into one more battle against Martin Jigo right here, and just keep showing you guys the power of this deck. It's so strong. I know that it's a little bit annoying because it uses the Mega Minion, and not everyone has the Mega Minion, but since I'm in a challenge, I'm just playing at Tournament Standard, and you can get your Mega Minion up to Tournament Standard fairly easily if you open some chests. And just play normally, open your crown chests, and eventually your Mega Minion will make its way there. Let's go and play against this guy. He's actually playing a pretty similar deck. This could be a mirror matchup. I don't see a Prince inside of his deck just yet, and honestly, that Mega Minion for me was pretty weak right there. But I don't see a Prince, and he's going to do a decent amount of damage to this left-hand tower, but rather than play my Zap spell on defense, I'm going to keep snowballing my Elixir lead by playing that Collector in the bottom right. So I'm sort of saving some money for the future when I do that. I know I'm sacrificing HP on my tower instead of dropping that Zap spell, but I feel like it's the best idea to do, and I'm feeling like with this next push we have going down the left-hand lane, we should be able to strike gold and make our way to his tower. So Giant has gone down. We've got the Prince to back up that Giant as well. I can go ahead and play that right now before my Elixir Pump goes. He's going to play his Giant down the right-hand lane, which honestly is insanely aggressive, seeing as he doesn't have any Elixir to protect him over here. Let's play my Poison Spell right in the center of the Elixir Collector in the tower to try to predict what he's going to do. The Mini Pekka is going to lock onto my Musketeer right here and actually not be able to kill it. And take a look down the left-hand lane as that tower is going to go down, and on the right-hand lane, my Mega Minion is going to be able to deal with this Giant. The Mega Minion by itself is only going to let the Giant get a couple of swings off against the tower, and just like that, the very first tower of the game, like I said, went down, and all because we invested into our future by playing our Elixir Collector on the bottom right rather than defending from that Musketeer. Alright, now meanwhile, Giant's going to go down the left-hand lane. It's going to take a couple of swings on my tower. His Poison Spell is going to go down, trying to damage my left-hand tower as much as possible, so obviously I sort of have to think like this left-hand tower will die before the end of the game if he just keeps poisoning it over and over again. So meanwhile, I will keep pushing down the right-hand lane to try to build as much of a lead as possible as I can to make sure that even if we go into extra time, I'll be able to win fairly easily and within the first seconds that we go to that time. Now, meanwhile, he's playing an aggressive Musketeer and Mega Minion down that lane. I'm actually going to zap everything down as well, and check out the value I'm getting. For that 6 Elixir right there, we're going to take the Mega Minion, the Musketeer, and the Elixir Collector down to 0, as well as the tower is going to take some damage from that zap and the Poison Spell. Meanwhile, down the left-hand lane, another Poison and Giant is going to take my tower fairly low, but instead, I'm just not even going to worry about that and keep grinding my way to that tower. I've got the Poison Spell going down, I've got the Zap Spell, which I can use as well. My Mega Minion's doing work, and meanwhile, down the left-hand lane, he still doesn't have a Poison Spell down, so he doesn't even have enough damage to take out the tower if he wanted to. That's going to do it for the game with 5 seconds left, and guys, This deck is just so much fun to play. It's so strong, and the Giant Prince meta has been around for a couple of weeks, but the Mega Minion just makes it even better. So feel free to try out this deck. Let me know what you guys think about it, and drop me some comments in the comments section below. I've been playing this a lot. I've had a lot of success using it inside of regular multiplayer as well as inside of tournaments. And yeah, this is the deck right here. Again, 2 spells are going to be the Zap and the Poison spell. The Elixir Collector is your only building, so keep that in mind when you play against Hog Riders and Royal Giants, that you have to use your Prince to defend rather than a cannon or something like that. And of course, you've got your Ice Spirit as a supportive card, and then the 4 other damage dealing cards that I talked about earlier. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, test out this deck and let me know what you think. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.